Welcome to Super Wildcard Weekend. Formerly known as Wildcard Weekend, but the NFL really likes money, so they added a 7th seed, so now it's Super Wildcard Weekend. It's really exciting, but it's all about the integrity of the game, all about enhancing the playoffs. Stop thinking it's about money. Player safety, it's not about money. Stop thinking it's about money. But that's beside the point. Super Wildcard Weekend is one of the most fun weekends in football, in my opinion, because you finally get to a point where, generally, there's not going to be a blowout. Anything can happen, and it's a fine balance between sticking to your identity as a team and game planning for your opponent. In the end, only one thing matters, and that's to win and move on to the next round. So it makes it a little difficult to pick the games because, anything can happen and the players leave everything on the field because this could be their last chance of the season. But we'll do our best to pick what we can. More than likely, I will be guaranteed 100% correct and not Caden.
Just like the regular season.
Just like the regular season. It carries over. It translates perfectly.
Yeah.
Welcome to KNA Football. So, Caden, I realized that yesterday, as I was going back and listening to some of our previous episodes.
Oh my. Why did you do that?
To be honest, I didn't, but I just know that this happens every single episode, where once we come back from the intro music, whoever opened goes, all right, and it's the same word every time. And I was like, I feel like I need to call this out. I feel like this is something that needs to be addressed. We need to come up with a new word. All right is kind of
right. I do notice this every week, but I'm like, I'm not going to stop it.
I was like, I have to stop. So I opened with okay, You know, we're gonna mix it up a little bit, maybe throw the listeners through a loop.
What else we got for okay and all right?
I don't know. We'll find out next on the recap episode when you have to come up with a new word.
Crap. It's all right. I'll do some Googling over the weekend, but
yeah. So
I mean, it like you said, it's the most fun weekend now. One of the most fun weekends of the football season. Maybe you could say week 1 is up there.
Yeah.
All these games matter so much more now. You're gonna see the players like leaving everything they everything they have on the field, and this is like the first games are today at like 4:30.
Yeah.
And then football until Monday night.
Yeah, it's very exciting, and there's been a lot of fun games throughout history in wildcard weekend. There's a lot of ridiculous plays that happen, a lot of ridiculous games. There was obviously the Music City Miracle, the game last year that the Cowboys lost against the 49ers,
when they ran a QB draw,
where they ran a QB draw and then ran out of time. That happened. Wildcard is really, in my opinion, one of the weeks that's like, because there's so many teams, so many more upsets can happen, and all of the teams are pretty evenly matched.
Right. And there you also see a lot of overtime games where a lot of people are like, okay, you got to change this overtime rule because one team gets the ball and they score and their season ends on their defense not being able to get a stop because their offense didn't get the ball in overtime, which the NFL addressed this offseason. And now, for the first time now, this playoffs, overtime will be different. We talked about that. So each team will get a possession in overtime. I'm not really sure how it works. So say Team A goes down and scores. Obviously, Team B now has a chance to go match it. And if they do match it, then Team A, I'm assuming, gets the ball. And if they score, is it over? Does Team B have a chance again? I don't know if it works like college or if they just tweaked it a little bit. It's just exciting to see. Overtime will be more fun. I'm hoping for an overtime game this playoffs.
Yeah, I'm hoping for one this weekend just to see how it works, see what it is. And obviously, overtime adds a lot more excitement. Right, it's like these teams are really even, and they're both fighting so hard for it, and it's just a lot more fun.
Yeah, and it comes down to a couple plays here at the end of the game to see if they're gonna go home or go to the next round. So
yeah, I do like the college model. I haven't completely decided.
I agree.
Well, the college model of starting at the 25. I don't know if I'm all in on that. I kind of like you have to go the full length of the field, like regular, where you kick off like you normally would, punt like you normally would. I don't know.
Huh?
Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'll decide which one I like better after this week if we actually get to see it, but I'm excited.
Yeah.
Wildcard Weekend's a fun weekend to have. But, yeah, speaking of Wildcard Weekend, let's actually jump into those and, see what we each have.
This week's K&A Pick'ems.
All right. So this first game is... I don't know whether to talk about it now or later. I'll talk about it now.
Yeah. I don't know what you're going to say, but...
So, this is, in my opinion, exactly why the 7 seed should not exist in the playoffs. Seattle Seahawks at San Francisco 49ers. This is the NFC 7 team against the NFC 2 team. Okay? Over in the AFC, you have the Dolphins without Tua against the Bills.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we can both confidently say, and the viewers can probably say by just looking at this matchup, who's going to end up winning this. Because
this is probably
going to be a blowout.
One of the more surefire games of the weekend. There's some upset potential in a lot of the games, but this game is will probably more than likely be chalk. Oh, and me and you did talk about off before we started. Since there's less games this week, and like it's playoffs, we'll pick the scores of the games as well. Because
why not?
If you're right, awesome. If you're wrong, who cares? Nobody ever really picks scores correctly. So
yeah,
it's just a fun little thing to add. So yeah, but yeah, back to what you were saying.
Yeah. So obviously, I'm going to pick the 49ers. I don't feel like there's too much discussion to be had about this. I mean, good job to the Seahawks for actually making it here. No one thought you were going to make it this far. Everyone was like, before the season started, like we've talked about 100 times now, the Seahawks were supposed to be one of the worst teams in football, if not the worst, and weren't supposed to win
locked into that first pick.
I mean, that was the prediction for everyone, and now here they are in the playoffs, which I think, and everyone was laughing at them for starting Geno Smith. Like, he's not a starting quarterback in the NFL. They're starting 10,000 rookies. And now here they are. Geno Smith has played really well. They had the greatest draft class of all time last year. And Pete Carroll is probably going to win Coach of the Year, in my opinion. So, good job, Seahawks, for actually making it here, but the 49ers are going to kind of stomp you.
Yeah. The Seahawks, congrats for getting here. That's why... Yeah, it adds more football for the 7th seed.
Right.
So I'm not going to complain about the 7th seed. I don't want them to take it away. And obviously, if one of our teams make it, we're going to be so thrilled that the 7th seed exists.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
But, yeah, these teams have played twice this year. And the Seahawks lost both of them.
Yeah. Their most recent matchup was a month ago.
Right. And Brock Purdy, that was Brock Purdy's second start.
Yeah.
And he played really, really good. It was a Thursday night game. And Brock Purdy, since he's been the quarterback, has completely... he's played like a star quarterback, I guess. He's throwing to George Kittle like every play. He's got McCaffrey to throw to and hand it to. He's got Elijah Mitchell behind McCaffrey, who's still a pretty good running back. He's got Debo. He's got Ayuk. He's got the best O-line, the best defense. I don't think Seattle's a bad team. None of these teams are. They've made the playoffs. But they don't have the firepower to keep up with the Niners at San Francisco.
Yeah.
No way you lose. You beat this team. I think it's Geno Smith's first playoff game. Obviously, it's Brock Purdy's as well.
Right.
But...
Well, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, there have only been 5 rookies to start a playoff game. And I think only one of them has won that playoff game. And then they immediately lost the next one. And I don't, the guy's name is so irrelevant, I won't even bring it up who it was. But, Brock Purdy being one of these rookies that gets to start in a playoff game. And obviously, I don't think this game will, be any sort of a test for Brock Purdy, because this game they've already played the Seahawks twice.
It is hard to beat a team 3 times in a year. That is what they say.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
They've never seen this team, though. Because this game should be pretty well locks for the 49ers to win. Should be. But at some point in this playoff, we're going to see a matchup for Brock Purdy that's actually a challenge. Because they have not... they're on a 10-game win streak. Brock Purdy's started the last 5. They have won by double-digit... They're doubles... Man, I can't speak. Like a 2-score game or more in each of those 5 games. So there hasn't been a time where Brock Purdy needs to get it together. He needs to orchestrate a game-winning drive, and it's all on him to win the game. And that will happen at some point in this playoffs. They're going to run into a team that is good, right? They're going to run into an Eagles team that is fully healthy, or even if they make it to the Super Bowl, they're going to have to play the Bills, Bengals, Chiefs. They're going to have to play a very complete team. So I feel like it's going to be exciting because we're going to get to see who Brock Purdy really is outside of a starter Mr. Irrelevant, who has a fantastic team built around him.
Yeah. What do you got for the score for this game?
This game... Okay, so these teams, like I said, these 2 teams played a month ago.
Right.
And it was a decently close game. This was the one exception to they've won by 2 scores or more. They won by 8 points last time these 2 teams played.
But they were in control for most of the game.
Right.
Yeah.
8 points is still is it 1 score? Yeah, it is, but you have to get the touchdown and a 2-point conversion. So they won 21-13 in the last game. I think that the Seahawks will be able to match 13. So I feel like I'm going to go Seahawks 13. I'm going to go 49ers 31.
Wow. It's kind of a blowout. But yeah, I see it as well. I don't really see a way that the Seahawks keep it close. I think the things they got going for them is Purdy is a rookie in the playoffs, crazy environment. And they've played them twice already this season. They should know what to expect. Then again, it's this Niners team. It's a tough team to beat. I'm gonna have Niners. I feel like once they get a big enough lead, they'll like just start trying to milk it away. I mean, I don't think they'll try to run it up. There's no point to risk injury. I'll say, I was gonna say 31, but I won't say that. I'll say 24 to 14.
Oh, okay. So you got a lot closer.
Right. I think it's gonna be like it's gonna feel like the Niners are way ahead all game, which I mean they'll be controlling the game, but the score itself will be relatively closer.
Yeah. I feel like the only chance that the Seahawks have really is that one, it's supposed to be raining pretty hard.
Yeah, I did see that.
Up in the Bay Area. So it's supposed to be pretty much like torrential downpours. So, I mean, that could help or hinder. And Pete Carroll gets to see Brock Purdy twice, which, for a good coach like Carroll, there's only been 5 games of film on Purdy, and now he gets to see him twice. So maybe that'll be an advantage if he's been able to scheme for that. Maybe he's figured out a way to stop him, but I mean, we'll find out.
Yeah.
Only one way to know. One more thing that I'd like to mention before we move on, just a fun fact about the playoffs, is that if you outrush your opponent, you have a 75% chance of winning any game you're playing in the playoffs.
Really?
Yeah.
If only the Panthers would have made it.
Yeah, exactly. Last year, out of the 6 games that were played, 5 of those games were decided by whoever rushed the most. So maybe that'll carry over to this year.
Right. I mean, people say you got to pass the ball to win, but clearly running works. I mean, if you're running, you're taking time off the clock. You're taking possessions away from the other team. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, this game is the game that I personally am looking forward to the most. You got the Chargers, the 5 seed, at the AFC South champions, the Jaguars. The battle of the hair.
Yeah.
You got...
Yeah, fun fact about that. This is the most combined hair since the NFL merger.
Yeah, that is an ESPN type stat right there, man. I guarantee you, over under like 4.5 times they bring something up about the hair tonight. I guarantee it's gonna be brought up like 5 times.
No betting though.
No betting. Like, no. I'm just saying, it's gonna happen so much. It's gonna be funny too.
Fun. It's gonna be like the Josh Allen situation.
Yeah, Josh Allen intercepts. Josh Allen.
Yeah,
but they're gonna be like, oh, Trevor Lawrence with his mane,
beautiful hair.
Yeah, and now he's gonna give it to the other quarterback. Justin Herbert with his beautiful mane, and it's like, bro, like, let him play football. No one cares about their hair. Like, whatever. But Head and Shoulders need to sponsor this game. Man.
That's true. This is the Head and Shoulders Bowl. Like in college, they have like the Cheez-It Bowl, the Chick-fil-A Bowl. This is the Head and Shoulders Bowl.
Yeah, man. But I'm really looking forward. It should be a good game. I think it'll be one of the more entertaining games of the week. I'll let you talk because I know you have some harsh words for.
I do have some pretty harsh words. So, in case you weren't paying attention last week, the Chargers were in a, the game didn't matter against the Broncos.
If they win, great, nothing happens. If they lose, okay, nothing happens. Like, they were locked into that 5 seed.
Right. They had the 5 seed, and there was nothing that they could do to lose it. And for whatever reason, the absolute genius of Brandon Staley, the Chargers head coach, he said to himself, what are we going to do this week? Are we going to, A, take the Giants strategy and sit all of our starters so that way none of them get hurt? Or B, play some of our starters for some of the game to kind of get some momentum going into next week, and then pull them at halftime, no matter the score, just so we have a little bit of momentum.
But keep in mind, you are the most injury-prone team in the league.
Exactly. You've had no receivers like all year. Your defense has been riddled with injuries. Brendan Staley chose maybe the more genius of those 2 options. He chose option C, which was to play his starters for the full game, which is so genius that Mike Williams is now out for this game. Joey Bosa is very questionable. It's like a game time decision, which means he's not playing. So you said this last week, that he deserves to be fired no matter the outcome of this game for just the sheer ineptitude of that decision.
I did not say ineptitude.
Okay, I said ineptitude. That's fine.
I'll say it. I don't even know what that word means, bro.
Okay, sorry. You said that he should be fired no matter the situation, which I completely agree
with.
The only issue is that the Chargers still owe him like $3 million on his 4-year contract. So when he gets fired and he's sitting in his house in the greater Los Angeles area, drinking some expensive drink, he's probably sitting on some normal deck, pretty average, stupid little thing. But he could have a great deck. He could have a beautiful deck. He could have his deck built by our friends over at K&F Construction. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a sponsor. K&F Construction has been serving the Northeast Ohio community for over 16 years, specializing in composite decks. K&F Construction takes the time and effort to provide the service and product you deserve for your home. You can call K&F Construction today at 330-575-2465 for a free estimate. Again, that's 330-575-2465. You can also visit kfdex.com, which is linked in the description. K&F Construction, let us build your dream backyard. Pretty good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Brandon Staley needs that K&F Construction deck after he gets fired. Oh, we're not done talking about this game.
Yeah, once he gets fired,
it's all right. It's all right.
Should happen.
Absolutely. But like you said, Brandon Staley plays his starters. Now Mike Williams is out. That is a huge blow to the Chargers team. They'd struggled this season because they had no receivers. And now they're missing their number 2 receiver, who's a very good receiver. Yeah. I would give Jacksonville the edge on receivers now.
Yep.
Obviously head coach.
Clearly.
Right. But I still think the Chargers can do this. Personally, my bias, if you've been listening to the podcast all year, you know that I have been pulling for the Chargers all year. I'm a huge Herbert fan. I would love to see them go to the Super Bowl. Is it going to happen? Probably not. But
weren't they your Super Bowl pick?
They were my Super Bowl pick, but don't talk about that. Yours were the Packers. Where are they right now?
NFC. Hey, not kidding.
But yeah, they got the better quarterback. They got the better running back. They got the better defense if they actually play. They're the better team, man. They've playing Kansas City twice a year. That's automatically 2 losses. The Jaguars, yeah, they're in the playoffs, but they're in the AFC South. It's it's a step above the they're in the AFC South.
Yeah, you said that.
Okay, yeah. They're a step above the NFC South.
And by a step above, you mean the Jaguars actually have a winning record going into the playoffs.
Right, but barely. They're 10-6 or 10-7?
9-8.
No. They're one game above. This team's not great. They've hit their stride as of late, but so have the Chargers. I'm going to go Chargers here. I would love to see them win, and I think they can do it. Jaguars, yeah, they're home, but that's not one of the more crazier home field advantages.
Right.
It's a home field game, but it's yeah, they're going to be loud. It's a playoff game. They're going to be hype, but if you're playing in Arrowhead or if you're playing in Seattle, it's a huge difference. But you're in Jacksonville, it's okay. I'm gonna go Chargers 31.
Wow.
I think it's gonna be high scoring. 31-24.
31-24. That's pretty close. It's pretty close.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a close game. A lot of points. It'll be fun. 31-24.
Nice. I'm going to go the other way.
Yeah, I wasn't really surprised.
Yeah, I'm going to go Jacksonville in this game. I think that you're 100% correct. This game is going to be very close. High scoring, we'll see. I think that it's obviously a big detriment to not have Mike Williams in this game. He's obviously your speedy guy on the outside. Now you have to, work just with Keenan Allen running the slot. So it's okay,
don't get us wrong. Keenan Allen's a good receiver, but you need more than
right. You need more than one receiver on a team if you're going to actually stand a chance in these playoff games. So if the Jacksonville defense can shut down Keenan Allen, which obviously now you have the chance to do because you don't have to worry about Mike Williams as well, so you can put your best cover corner on Keenan Allen. If Jacksonville defense can stand and Trevor Lawrence plays better than he did last week against the Titans, I think that Jacksonville can win this game. You just need to not punt more times than the Chargers. That's the key. Is you need to be able to hold the ball, you need to be able to move the ball, and that's all they need to do. I feel like Travis Etienne will probably have a big game today. The Chargers aren't very good on the rush defense, and now with Joey Bosa not in there to help on the inside, I feel like there's a chance there. So I'm going to go Jacksonville wins 31-27.
Oh, so same winning score.
Right, same.
So you also think it's going to be a
it.
close game.
I think you said 24, didn't
I
you?
did say 24.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think it's going to be very close.
Right. This game is tonight. Really happy that this is one of the first games of. I think good move by the NFL to put this early as well. So it's going to be like a close game. Everyone's like, wow, like, good game. Let's tune
into the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good move by the NFL.
Very, very.
But it's not about money.
It's not about money though. Stop
it's about
thinking
safety
it's about safety and
integrity
of
all
the
that
game.
stuff.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and this is another one of those 7 seed versus 2 seed games now. You got the Dolphins versus the Bills.
Yeah.
Dolphins, Tua out with like 8 concussions. Teddy Bridgewater out with a broken thumb. And now you're going to have another 7th round rookie quarterback starting in a playoff game. I don't know if you've ever seen one start in a playoff game in history. And now you're having 2 in the same week, which is crazy. You got Skylar Thompson in here. Hasn't impressed at all. He beat the Jets last week. 11-6.
Yeah, it's crazy. 11-6 against the Jets. Whew. Really putting up the points there,
dude,
Skylar.
I really see no chance. Like you can make a case for Seattle. I can understand that.
Yeah,
but I don't see any shot that the Dolphins make this a game, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're correct. I don't. The Jets' defense is good. Okay, don't get me wrong. The Jets' defense is good. They are not only giving up 11 points good. Okay, that's not how good the Jets' defense is. That's like no defense is that good. It's crazy to me that at the beginning of this season, everyone was saying, "Wow, this Dolphins team is pretty good."
They're 3-0.
I was.
Yeah, they're 3-0. They just beat the Bills, right?
Right. I was one of the haters. I was saying, no one at the beginning of the season trusted Tua. Everyone was saying that he was going to underthrow his receivers. And then after the first couple weeks, we're like, okay, Tua's actually hitting his receivers. The offense looks so incredibly fast. The defense moves so quick. And then as the season progressed, it turns out that the issue wasn't Tua like we thought it would be. It's actually just without Tua, there is no Dolphins team, which is crazy. Like if you don't have Tua, they've scored like 0 points in the last 4 weeks without Tua. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So obviously we know Tua is not going to win the MVP, but if you think about MVP and what it means, most valuable player for that team, Tua, yes, he's not going to win. He doesn't deserve to win at all. But when you think about the meaning of most valuable player, Tua absolutely deserves to be brought up, sort of, in some aspect. Because you take Tua with the Dolphins with Tua and the Dolphins with any other quarterback, and it's night and day difference with how bad or how good they are. Like, they are electric with Tua. They're beating the Bills. They're losing a very close game to the Bills in snowy Buffalo. Right. I mean, all these games with Tua, they look like world beaters. And then they get to even Teddy Bridgewater or Skylar Thompson now, and they're like, dude, you're beating the Jets 11-6. Like, all these games, and it's like, yes, Tua does not deserve to win MVP. He won't win MVP. He won't even be a finalist. But thinking about the meaning, most valuable player, it's just showing that he is a good quarterback when he's healthy. That's the issue. I don't know if he'll ever play again. I mean, it wouldn't be smart for him to ever play again. He's gotten a lot of hate. Not him, but the Dolphins have gotten a lot of hate for playing him, I guess, with his head injuries and concussions.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, I feel like the Bills may have gotten the longer end of the stick with the whole not playing that extra game and losing out on the first seed. Because now Kansas City has to rest this whole week, right? They don't get to play, and now they have to come in with the potential to be rusty, like you maybe see after a bye week during the regular season. Now the Bills get to basically play what is a slightly more competitive practice, as long as they don't do the Chargers and continue to play their starters when they don't need to. This could be best case scenario for the Bills. Right,
but now Kansas City, the other one seed, so that more than likely they're going to play the winner of the Chargers and the Jaguars. The Bills, assuming they win, will play the Bengals, assuming the Bengals win, which more than likely will happen. So now the Bengals have to play the Bills have to play the Bengals instead of the Chargers or the Jaguars. So it is
Right, which is
more
a slight
unfortunate for them,
disadvantage.
which is a very big disadvantage in my
Right.
opinion. But
But
it does, yeah. They do have it's pretty much a bye, if you want to say. But it's a bye, but not getting that rusty effect. Like, you're still playing your players with a free win.
right, free win. Hopefully, assuming you don't absolutely fumble the bag.
Dude, this
here.
would be one of the more shocking games I have ever seen. If
This would
Bills,
be the craziest upset ever
Yeah.
if the Bills were to lose this.
Yeah.
And speaking of the Bills and Chiefs, the NFL has decided that the AFC Championship game,
No.
if played between Kansas City and Buffalo, will be played in Atlanta at their dome.
yeah, I don't know what it's really called.
That's the Mercedes-Benz
I th-
Superdome, I think.
Is that Atlanta? Is that New Orleans?
That's
Whatever.
Atlanta. It's Mercedes-Benz
Yeah.
Stadium. Yeah.
We'll go with that.
We'll go there. I'm 90% sure that's correct. So that's where it will be played. Assuming it's between those two teams, there still obviously is a chance that the Bengals would beat the Bills next week, which we assume will be the matchup for next week, and then it will be played in Arrowhead, but that remains to be seen.
So what you got for the score of this game?
Oh, my. Okay, so if the Bills are stupid enough to play their starters the whole game, they could definitely, start smelling the 40s.
40s. I was gonna say 50s if they played their starters.
Oh,
again,
yes,
but yeah.
it's true. But I don't think that they'll do that. I think that they'll probably pull their starters at some point, I assume. So I'm going to go Bills. This is really tough, actually. I'm going to go Bills 38.
Oh, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Okay. See, I'm gonna go Bills 38. I understand that that's still smelling the 40s, but I feel like they don't.
Actually, no, I'm not saying 38.
They don't need to play their starters to get there. Dolphins playing this Bills defense in the first 3 quarters. I don't really see them scoring maybe a field goal in the first 3 quarters. Maybe they score 3 points. Then after that, if the Bills pull their starters and start playing second, third string defenders, I don't know. Bills 38, Dolphins maybe 17.
Yeah, like I was gonna go high like that, but I'm like, I don't see a way that the Bills have any incentive to keep running up the score because I don't think the Dolphins are gonna score much at all. But Skylar Thompson,
Yeah.
man, he's not Brock Purdy. He's not that 7th round.
No, and he could give away some pick sixes to
Right.
that Bills defense.
I'm like, this is tough. Like, obviously the Bills are gonna kill him. It's just a matter of how much are they gonna score. Are they gonna rest their starters, like you said? And, like,
Yeah.
I'll go 31. No. Yeah, I'll say 31 to 14.
31-14.
Bills, obviously.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's the 3rd game with a score of 31 for one of the teams.
Is
that
it
you
really?
picked.
I didn't even think about that. I mean, I'm trying to think scores that are actually possible to get. I'm gonna
Right.
say like
Give some
1
touchdowns,
to
a field
2.
goal or 2. Right.
But like scores that like 4 touchdowns and a field goal or something like that, like
Yeah.
mathematically possible.
All right. This next game is one that I think is probably going to be just as exciting as the Chargers
I am excited for this game
Jags
as well.
game. This game, I don't know. In these the last time these two teams met, the Vikings won off a game expiring field goal to win. What did they win by? Clearly don't have the score.
They won by
Genius of
3.
me. Yeah, they won by 3. I think it was
31-28, I think.
31-28,
Something like
maybe
that.
24-27.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah,
24-27.
24-27. We'll go with that.
I think that's right. And I had picked the Giants to win that game. And I was pretty close. Like, I was pretty happy with how close I was with that game. And I don't know. I'm excited for this game. What are your thoughts on this one?
Look, the Vikings this season, we talk about it a lot. They're winning these 1 possession games. It doesn't matter who they're playing. They play to the level of their competition. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
They could be playing the Texans and they'll win by 3. They could be playing the Chiefs and they'll win by 3. I mean, it's just one of these times, man. It's got to stop working. I do think it helps them that it really gives them hope that it's like if the game's in the fourth quarter, they're not out of it. Like they know how to come back, they know how to win. But when you get into the playoffs, first of all, they saw each other like 3 or 4 weeks ago, like very recently, and it was a very close game. When you get into the playoffs, it's not gonna be straight chalk. You're gonna have upsets, like 4-5. That's an upset, but it's like
but not
more
really.
reasonable. This is a 3 and a 6. You're not gonna have straight chalk. I'm gonna go the Giants. I can't believe that I'm at this point where I'm actually like confident in picking the Giants, because all season I wasn't high on this team, but lately I'm like, okay, this Giants team has really impressed me as of late. I mean, they played nobody last week and they were very close against the Eagles. They were starting Webb at quarterback. Like, come on, like who's Webb? But
Yeah.
man, the Vikings just aren't impressive. I mean, they're either gonna be on fire or terrible, and this is not the 1:00 Vikings. Keep in mind this game's at 4, which is stupid that we're bringing that up. But wait, no, it's not. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is 4:30.
Yeah, so it's. I mean, the Giants, man. I'm gonna go Giants. I can't believe, but I'm very confident. Like sometimes when you're picking upsets on these pickups, you're like, okay, you can't just pick chalk. You're gonna have to pick an upset. But like you pick it, and you're like, okay, more than likely it's not gonna happen. But like me picking this, I'm like, I'm very confident that the Giants are gonna win this game. Like if you had to give me a $100 bill and say, who do you think is gonna win this game? I'm putting it on the Giants. I mean, I'm more confident in this Giants team right now than the Vikings.
Yeah, I definitely see that happening. Like, I am going to go Vikings in this game. I picked the Giants last time, not making the same mistake, picking the Vikings this time, giving them their 12th one-score win of the season. I mean, this game will be close, in my opinion.
Right.
I think everyone's opinion, this game is going to be very, very close. Do I think that it will harm them with their very suspect defense? I mean, yeah, their defense is ranked 31st in the league. Like, they're just above the Texans.
Yeah.
Okay, like their defense is terrible. Their offense is the only thing that gives them any sort of life. And that's why they keep winning these close games, because they can't stop anyone on defense. But for the first round of the playoffs, I'm going to say that they're okay still. The first round of the playoffs, I'm going to say that they'll be okay. They'll win this game. Next round, well, they're probably getting blown out because they're going to play someone with a good defense and an offense that can actually score on their terrible defense. So for this round, I'm going to go with the Vikings.
What do you think the score is going to be?
That's a very, very tough question. Yeah. And it's
going to be a one-possession game.
Yeah, I'm hard-pressed to not pick 24-27 again. I'm just going to do it. 24-27, Vikings win.
I'm going to say 24-21 Giants. I think it's going to come down to a game-winning field goal, just like it did last time. Obviously, a little bit less, 3 points less for each team, except the Giants will have flipped. I guess that made no sense what I just said. But it'll come down. Graham Goodnow, 49-yard field goal. Book it right now. 49-yard field goal for the win. As time expires, you're going to write that down.
49 yards. Caden.
Graham Goodnow, 49-yard field goal, walk-off for the win. Giants win, and they go on to play probably the Eagles next week, which will be very interesting, a division game. But anything could happen. I mean, the Vikings, they could be down by 34 in the fourth quarter, and they'll still probably have a chance to come back. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's always a possibility.
Yeah. Before we get into our next game, we do have a TikTok. So I know I personally don't have TikTok. I don't know if you do either. But if you do have TikTok, make sure to go follow us on TikTok, where we post some reels and funny clips that we have. Make sure to follow us on TikTok at KA_football podcast. Debbie works really hard on the TikTok, just like the Instagrams and
everything
the actual
else.
podcasts and all that stuff. So go show us some love.
Go show some love for Debbie. All for Debbie. This game should be another blowout. Should be.
Look, man. You can keep going. I'll wait.
Okay. So Ravens at Bengals. These two teams played last week in the exact same environment. I hope that Baltimore didn't go home. I hope they just kind of got a hotel in the area and just kind of stayed there. Knowing an NFL team, they definitely went home and just did the same thing again, but it would have made logistical sense to stay. So they played last week, and the Bengals won despite having less than 100 yards of offense in the second half. And it's not like they went and rested their starters either. They played the full game. So the Ravens defense figured something out last week. What that is, I don't know. Maybe that carries into this week. Maybe the Bengals have schemed for that, and now they have a way around it. We'll see. This game has potential to be close, despite the fact that imitation Lamar Jackson will be starting this game. So, I mean, we'll see. What did you have to say?
I was just gonna say, I don't think this game is about Bengals versus Ravens at all, man. Like, this game is about Lamar Jackson is no longer a Raven. And if anyone still thinks he's gonna be with the Ravens next season, they need to wake up and face reality. He's not. And it is confirmed now this week. I mean, look, he did something to his PCL or something, was it?
Yeah.
PCL sprain or something. They said the injury was 5 weeks. That was 2 months ago, or 2.5 months ago.
Yeah.
Dude, he's not coming back. You can clearly, if he wanted to play, he could play in this game. He could have played last week, but he's sitting out. He doesn't want, which I think smart for Lamar. He doesn't want to go in, get hurt, and even more teams will be like, wow, you are injury prone. We don't want to pay you money because you're just going to get hurt. And he doesn't want to risk that for the Ravens, who aren't going to give him an O-line, aren't going to give him any weapons. So, Lamar, I mean, rightfully so, saying, screw you guys. You guys aren't going to help me out. You're going to give me no help. I'm not going to play for you guys. I'm going to leave, which is a smart thing to do. And I think it's written on the wall that he's gone. I don't see a way that he comes back. I think he goes to the Jets. More than likely, that's my pick to go. I'd love for him to go to the Panthers. I don't think he will. I think he'll go to the Jets. But, like we said, who is it? Is it Tyler Huntley or Anthony Brown this week?
Tyler Huntley.
Okay, doesn't matter. Bengals will be fine. I think Anthony Brown gives the Ravens a better chance than Tyler Huntley does. As crazy as that sounds, Tyler Huntley, man, he's looked so bad in the games he's played this year.
Yeah.
And the Bengals, obviously, they have really high hopes to go to the Super Bowl again. They're a great team. I got Bengals pretty soundly. I'm going to say 40.
Oh, my God.
2. I know.
42?
42. Just 6 touchdowns.
Just 6 touchdowns.
6 touchdowns. No field goals. They don't need those field goals. 42-17. Easy, blow them out. I don't care. They're not going to rest their starters, I don't think. I mean, they're rivals. Take them out. Put salt in the wound. 42.
That's not just putting salt in the wound. That's like dumping the entire iodized salt container in the wound. Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. Lamar Jackson probably, I can say with 99% certainty, Lamar Jackson will not be a Raven after next year. Or after this year, I should say. Where he goes, I'm not as confident that he goes to the Jets. I see the Colts as a viable option. The Colts have said that they are not interested at all in Derek Carr, which is a step in the right direction.
It is.
Step in the right direction, Colts. Stop going for old quarterbacks. You saw the thing that was how the Colts pick their quarterback is they adjust the settings in Madden to filter by age and by salary.
I've not seen
whoever's
this.
highest in both, that's who they pick. Which seems
That's
legit.
funny, that's
Whoever's
funny.
the oldest quarterback who needs paid the most, that's who they go for. They're stepping in the right direction. They're not going for Derek Carr, which means they could be eyeing Tom Brady, knowing the Colts. Never know. But yeah, Tyler Huntley starting in this game, he hasn't looked good at all. I mean, they've put up no points without Lamar. Go ahead and tell me that the Ravens and Dolphins are not the same team at this point.
The Dolphins have playmakers for their quarterback. The Ravens have, I don't know. I can't tell you who the Ravens got. They got Mark Andrews, who's a tight end who blocks right now more than he goes out for passes because he doesn't have Lamar. I mean,
Yeah.
they got nobody. The Dolphins at least have Tyreek Hill and Waddle.
Yeah.
So
That's true, but the quarterback situation,
Yeah.
I think it's the exact same situation.
and they're both going to get steamrolled.
both going to get steamrolled. So I completely agree with you. Bengals win this game. And as for the score, 41 Bengals. I'm gonna give them 2 field goals, not 6 straight touchdowns.
Right, yeah.
2 field goals. And then the Ravens, I don't know, 10.
Wow. That's even more
maybe 10.
blowout than mine, huh?
That's what I'm going with. I mean, the Ravens don't deserve to win. And if they do, I mean, this would be the greatest upset ever, other than maybe the Dolphins beating the Bills if that were to happen, but this would be the greatest upset of
Can you
all time.
imagine the Ravens win, the Dolphins win,
Seahawks win.
Seahawks win? Like, imagine the next round in the AFC. You'd have the Dolphins versus the Chiefs, and then you'd have the Ravens versus
No, the
the
Jags.
Chargers or the Jags.
Yeah,
So
it'd be ridiculous.
it's probably not going to happen.
Not going to happen at all. No, of course it's not. All right, so this is a new addition to the NFL.
Yep, this
playoff
is the
picture,
Monday night game. You got the Dallas Cowboys and America's team versus Tom Brady and the Bucks, the playoff Tom Brady. This game is really interesting. You got the Cowboys who were looking so good, and this was our year, just like every year. And then
It's always their year.
Yeah, and then they do the casual January Cowboys, and they look like trash. Shocker. It's funny how that always happens.
Who could have guessed?
And now Dak looks horrible. He's getting so much hate. People are starting to be like, "Yep, this is the January Cowboys are jumping off." And the Bucks have looked putrid all season, and they somehow got in the playoffs because of the NFC South. And J.C. Horn has bones that are made of glass. He didn't drink enough milk as a kid. If he did, if he drank his milk with his cereal as a kid, they would not be in the playoffs. Just think about that right now. Drink your milk, kids. Not a sponsor.
Sponsored by Milk. Big Milk sponsor.
This game is so hard to pick, dude. Like, I want to pick it in the final score be 2-0. Like, somebody has to win. Like, it's gonna be so sad. But it's weird. It's hard to pick too. I mean, all year the Cowboys looked so dominant, and all year the Bucks looked so bad. And now it's like, is it flipped? No, it's not. The Cowboys just suck again, and the Bucks
continue to
still suck, but they don't suck as bad as the rest of the NFC South, so they managed to get in. So it's like, it's so hard. But you can't, personally, I can't pick against Tom Brady yet. Next round, absolutely. And
ref ball.
Right. He's 7-0 in his career against the Cowboys. That is
Ridiculous.
crazy. It's playoff Tom Brady. I'm gonna go Bucks. I'm not happy about it. Dude, the score, I'm literally gonna have the score as 17-10 Cowboy or Bucks.
That's not an unreasonable pick. You remember how when we were talking about the Chargers-Jags game, we said that it should be the Head and Shoulders Bowl? I think this one should be like the vacuum bowl.
Because it sucks.
Because it sucks so bad. That's what should happen.
That was creative, man.
It was really good, wasn't it? Yeah, like you said, the Cowboys looked so good all year, and then January Cowboys came, and we got what we have now. And the Buccaneers looked so bad all year, and then Tom Brady suddenly remembered that the playoffs are around the corner, and his legacy can't die on not making the playoffs, and so here he is. It's a tough game for me to pick, because on the one hand, you have the Cowboys who consistently go out in the first round of the playoffs, no matter how much of their year it is. And you have,
and this one is their year.
And this one is their year, just like last year,
Don't get
and
it
the year
wrong.
before, and the year before, and the year before, and just repeat forever.
And then, until the 90s, and it actually was.
And then it actually was their year. And then you have the Buccaneers, who have looked the exact opposite. They look so bad all year, and then they managed to squeak their way into the playoffs because NFC South and also refs. So it's like, okay, who is going to lose more is really the question here. It's come out a little bit that Mike McCarthy might be in the hot seat if he can't win this game. There have been Cowboys players that have come out and be like, that's laughable because he's kind of done more for us since, Jason Garrett was good. And so it's like, okay, I don't really know. I am going to go Cowboys. I'm going to go Cowboys because if their defense can step it up, they'll be okay. If Micah Parsons can get some pressures on an 800-year-old Tom Brady, if he feels pressure, he falls. Okay, he doesn't want to take a hit because he's too old. He can't take hits like that. So if he feels pressure, he's going down. Just put pressure on Tom Brady, force him to make a bad throw. That's all you need in this game. And then hope that Dak Prescott doesn't throw 4 more interceptions in this game. Dak Prescott, like I've mentioned almost every week, has now thrown 15 interceptions in 10 games. Okay?
It's pretty bad.
That's really awful. Okay, you can't do that in the playoffs. For the first round of the playoffs, this is the first game where I'm picking the away team. I'm picking the Dallas Cowboys.
Well,
For a final score,
3-0.
21-17. Why not?
Okay, so you have the Cowboys winning this. Obviously, the Bucs would be out. Do you think this would be Tom Brady's last game? Not just as a Buccaneer, just in the NFL.
No, I don't think so.
Really?
No. Would it be wise of him to do that? I think so. I
Yeah,
don't
he's
think there's-
ruining his legacy. I mean, obviously, nothing's gonna ruin his legacy. He's still the GOAT. Everyone knows that. But people are gonna start thinking, like, just remembering, like, oh yeah, he was horrible for the last couple of years of his career. Just end it now, man. Go out when you still have some self-respect and dignity left.
Yeah, I mean, that's my personal opinion, is just retire now. I don't think he will, though, because, I mean, he sacrificed literally everything just to prove Adam Schefter wrong.
Yeah.
So, was it worth it, Tom Brady? I hope so.
I
And
think he goes to the Raiders next season, personally.
I think he goes to the Jets next year.
Really?
That's where I think he goes. I think he goes to the Jets, back in the AFC East. He gets to play the Patriots twice a year.
I don't
the
know.
Jets and the Jets are just an A-tier quarterback away from being a very good football team.
It could happen, but go from what? Right. I mean, go from the NFC South to the toughest division in football, man. Genius, but
I think he'll just go wherever the money is.
Hey, so I usually don't do any type of picks, but my pick percentage this year was actually pretty good. So I'm going to put in my picks and my score prediction for this game. I have the Bucs winning 13-24. We'll see what happens. Just a little Debbie prediction there.
that's realistic too. Are you gonna write
that?
Debbie's?
I'm writing that down.
I probably should have wrote my scores down too. I'll go back and find them and I'll write them down.
Yeah, you just have to rewatch the episode to find out.
It's whatever.
Debbie.
Get that viewership up. Debbie, what was it? 24-13.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, any of those could happen. It's gonna be a weird game for sure.
It's gonna be an exciting week. Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah, absolutely. But anything you want to say before? Anything playoffs? Anything sports? Anything? It's a shorter episode today. Not as
It is
much
a shorter
games,
episode.
but
That's fine. I don't think so. I think that's it.
yeah, I don't really got nothing either. There's not much going on except for playoffs or gearing up. March, college basketball.
No one cares about
It's
college
getting
basketball.
closer to March Madness. Hey, whatever. Yeah, we all good?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you on the recap episode later this week. Thanks for watching this episode of K&A Football. You can listen to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and we're also active on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts.
If you made it this far in the video, thank you. You're a real one. We'll see you next time.